Here we are in Venice, in front of the famous and beautiful Palazzo Fortuny, just a few months before the opening of this year's Biennale. The Palazzo is going to be the home of a concept which has been created by the famous Belgian art collector and decorator Axel Vervoort. The theme is proportions. Can you imagine anything so dynamic, so intriguing, and so wonderfully close to every one of us on Earth? Proportions. Good proportions, bad proportions, but proportions that we have to bring together in order to have a rich and beautiful life. In order to demonstrate this, 5 cubes, all with their own proportions, have been constructed. And when this theme was finalized and refined, Axel Vervoort said, why don't we also make proportions out of the materials which are going to be used for building these cubes, which of course are exactly materials that are used for building your home, your house, wherever it is. So this was done, trying to unite materials with 2 pillars which are so important to us, namely nature and human beings. So let's go inside and see what we have been able to do. So here we are inside the palazzo, where the 5 cubes are about to be erected, all in wood, as you would basically build any house. Each of the cubes have their own proportions. They have been calculated mathematically by the architect and have to correspond to the demands of perfect proportions. Then the wood has to be covered with walls, and these walls are done with the natural materials, as we will see them in a minute. To do this, we erect formwork, which has to be giving precisely the thickness of the wall. They are made in metal and are only fixed once, up and down, and then the formwork shoots up as we move upwards, constructing the walls. Materials are needed for this. The first one is the hemp shives, which come from the various countries in Europe. Producing the hemp plant, we add hydrated lime, pure lime, to this mixture, additives and water. Here it is mixed in a mixer and brought to the site where the house or the cube is being erected. Note that the workers are working with gloves, with their hands. Every piece of wall has to be done with a certain precision. It has to be done by the men, feeling the product, because it is going to be your house one day, and has to be done with feeling. And the workers understand that, and they work with this material which has no bad smell, which is all natural 100%, and with no toxic materials in it whatsoever. It's being finished as we move up, and here we have the cube ready. Final touch on the cubes, and moving inside these cubes, one breathes a fresh and very agreeable air, a sign from nature. So maybe we have learned something from this exhibition. Proportions are important to all of us. How can we speak about proportions without also mentioning disproportions? We live in a world today which are so awfully full of disproportions. One of the most important is the disproportion between nature and human beings. We have to learn from that. We have to do something about it. There's nothing wrong with disproportions. Even nature gives us disproportions. But the disproportion calls for a change. And when we meet disproportions, the change is our responsibility. We have to use nature as our supplier in the most important things that we are using every day, be it our food, our clothes, or our habitat. And if we have learned something from this exhibition, then it means that we got our proportions right. Thank you.